Siraj, big day. Episode number 4. We're in Ramp's headquarters, Rampant NFL Biz Week, powered by Athlete+Us. We're here with a beast.
A legend.
11-year NFL vet, the co-founder of Biz Week, and founder of Athlete+Us, Justin Pugh, ladies and gentlemen.
That was quite the intro. This is your first guest episode, too.
Yes, first guest.
Round of
Let's
applause
go, let's
right
go.
there.
First on-site, too. This is actually a completely new setting as well. So,
Yeah. Justin, we had to kick everybody else out because we're getting self-conscious. So
I mean, you're seeing what's behind us. We got the mecca of where everything's going to go down today. We are in the Coliseum right now.
The Coliseum.
This week, yeah.
Justin, tell them who you are. So obviously NFL background, player, and transition to a very lucrative and successful business career.
Hopefully.
Right,
we're in the first innings, but yeah, I played 11 years in the NFL. I never thought I would get drafted to play in the NFL. I was a 2-star recruit. They don't give you 1-stars because they don't want to demoralize you. Went to Syracuse University. Degree was in finance. Had my uncle had an RIA, so I learned a little bit about I always thought I could work for my uncle and become an advisor. And what ended up happening is got drafted in the first round by the New York Giants. I went from 2-star to first-round draft pick, so my life just changed completely overnight. And I went from being an employee at my uncle's company, I thought I'd become an advisor, to becoming a client. Played for 11 years, and towards the end of my career, I started working for a single-family office in the off-seasons, and we did ground-up multifamily construction. And through that process, just learned more about the institutional investment space. We were doing, ground-up development, like I mentioned, but at one point the family was looking at, sports investments, and I kind of molded my career of sports becoming this asset class as I was getting towards the end of my career, and this institutional background, and I've been underwriting American football for the last 20 years, and now they're investing billions of dollars into it. I'm like, you know what? There's something here. And I approached the NFL, my business partner Alex and I from Athlete+Us. I was the athlete, he was the us. We went to the NFL last year and we said, we want to do a program teaching more players how to leverage their time on the field to do business off. And the NFL, Tracy Perlman, the head of player operations, said, well, if you guys do it, we're all on board. And they supported us. We got in Syracuse University, my alma mater. So don't say anything about Syracuse in the comments right now. It's my alma mater. We grew it last year as a pilot program.
Nice.
This year, you're going to meet the NFL representative and kind of our business partner on this whole thing, Amir Carlisle, who is at Notre Dame, player. And he's taking this thing to the next level with us. And we continue to want to grow this, to help players think about life outside. This is our little coin phrase: transition begins the day you put the pads on, not when you take the pads off.
Right.
And that's when you really got to start to activate that brand and start getting out into the community. And we learn from NFL legends, executives that are legends of the game, and seen some really, really cool growth from the group this week so far.
That's amazing. Justin, tell us more about this week. What are the players doing? How immersive does this experience get?
It's a 3-day business summit. So yesterday was really about becoming the CEO of you. How do you take control of your own life? Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, came last year and spoke. And he said, the players that I've seen be the most successful and have had the most success post-career on just finding success and purpose off the field are the guys that took on the onus to learn how to do things on their own. They don't rely on the manager or the agent. And you take football and you put everything into it, but you got to do the same thing when you retire, and you kind of start at the bottom of the totem pole. So day one's talking about becoming the CEO of you, building, I'll just use myself for example, Justin Pugh Enterprises, whatever you want to call it. And we have Marcus Colston, who's a 10-year vet, New Orleans Saints all-time leading receiver, talking to guys about, hey, I was a 7th-round pick. Here's how I started to think about life outside of sport. I had to make sure I was on the team first. I had to make sure I had football taken care of. And then once that was controlled and under control, I could then move on to thinking about life outside. We had Malcolm Jenkins, legend, 13 years played. Usama Young, who played in the NFL, won a Super Bowl, worked for the league office, now is the head of player engagement for the Giants. And we had a women's panel at Nike where we heard from Sonia Richards-Ross. We heard from Kelly LaFerriere, who is the CEO of, hopefully I said that last name right, because it really rolled off the tongue, and I think I nailed it.
That was smooth.
And they talked about she worked with A-Rod and how he transitioned, and really just teaching the guys how to add tools to their toolbox. That's all it is. How to network, how to go out there and pitch your business, how to be an entrepreneur or how to be an employee. Mm-hmm. Some people don't make great entrepreneurs. How to go work for a company like Ramp, who's on a rocket ship. You need to be a great employee as much as you need to be a great entrepreneur or a CEO of a company, and learning all those different pieces.
Love it.
So I know that it's NFL Biz Week, obviously, and there's a few events that you guys had where you're teaching the players, life outside and entrepreneurship. But it seems like today it's a special day because they'll actually be pitching their own business ideas. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so yesterday was really building up you as the CEO of your own family office, right? Today is, hey, you're going to get in front of an esteemed panel of judges, and you're actually going to put those lessons to work. And you're going to go build a business. We give them 4 hours. It's a fake business, so it's not like we're trying to actually raise money right now. But one day you'll either be pitched. Someone's going to ask you for investment dollars.
Yep.
You're going to pitch someone because you're building a company. Or you might work for a company that's going to require you to go out and sell and pitch. And we think selling and learning how to work a room is very, very important. So today there's 5 teams of 6. We split them up. They have a full stack creative. They have a business coach who's been like an exited founder who's built and sold a company. As you know, we have billions of dollars in exited founders in the room, and the players are going to build some fictitious business. Last year, it was a vitamin wipe company that had, think dude wipes plus your daily vitamins in a business.
Honestly, genius, right?
Genius, because sometimes you forget to take your vitamins. You never forget to wipe.
Yeah.
You know where. So it's fun. We have fun with it. The Sharks break the players down, ask them tough questions, get them to flex those entrepreneurial muscles for the first time. As soon as we crown a champion, they're going to get their WWE belt, their victory belt, and then we're going to head to a big networking event. We're getting executives from all around New York. People are flying in for it. We are making this the Super Bowl of networking. Eventually, I want to have a Business of Sport Hall of Fame. We're talking to, I was pitching the New York Stock Exchange yesterday because we were there. And I'm like, we need to have something where we can induct players. We have the Hall of Fame for what you do on the field. We have Walter Payton for what you do off the field, philanthropically.
Yeah.
We need something for what players do in business. We induct guys like Michael Strahan, Bobby Wagner, Larry Fitzgerald, my personal friend Kelvin Beachum. That is where I see this going long term. So I'm putting that out into the air so we can, comes back around for us.
There we go. But also, they're fictitious businesses, but you said there's been instances where they've gone on to go and create these businesses, right?
So like I said, they're exited founders. So last year, 2 of the business coaches on one of the teams both had sold their companies successfully, and it was called Trade Up, where our country, I don't know, obviously you guys probably have seen this, you probably have written about it, we have a shortage of trades workers. HVAC, mechanics, plumbers, not plumbers, what was I trying to think? HVAC,
electricians,
electricians, wind turbine, you name it. And the company was building it, and they're like, you know what? A lot of these NFL cities and a lot of these players come from places like we can marry the two. We can go into the hometowns that we're from, use this NFL secret sauce to recruit more people and attract more people because the salaries are now there to incentivize people. And those founders and those players actually started that business. And we're not out here trying to start businesses. That wasn't what we thought we would be doing. We were just hanging around the hoop, allowing players to go do what they naturally want to do, and they're doing it right now. And that's Josh Johnson. I think he's going on year 24 in the NFL right now.
Damn,
a quarterback, former teammate of mine. He's working on that business. Will Hernandez was on that team, another former teammate of mine. It's super interesting. We had a player, Robert Burns, start his own app based off of this last year. We have Bud Dupree, who's going to be hopefully pitching his app today, who's building a business. So it really translates because guys are actually out there doing it, and we need to continue to give them that support.
So there's a business hall of fame that's hopefully coming soon for the sports business space. Where I want to be involved in it, Siraj, we definitely got to make sure the fourth quarter is in that. And then also, it seems like, Justin, the next obvious step is a venture fund, right? It's turning out to be an accelerator, an incubator. Maybe it's just, do we start seeding these businesses next?
Look, I think that's a bigger, we're not there. We're
Okay,
not there yet.
fair.
But I think if you
Fair.
look at, this is also an event I want to make sure I highlight this. It's the NFL and it's the NFLPA. This is the first time the NFL and NFLPA have come together for player programming. My whole idea, and I'm not here arguing about turf, and we're not all those different things that what helmet you have to wear and length of contracts. My whole thing is how do we take care of players when they walk away from the game, and that's something that the NFL, NFLPA, everyone can get behind. And if that one day is like the NFL and the NFLPA coming together, or maybe it's something that they figure out, we will leave that. I get up every day excited to send the elevator back down and bring up the next guy. Chase Edmonds, one of our current players, he dropped that dime on us yesterday. So I got to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, that was kind of a hard bar right there.
That's what gets me the most excited.
Very cool. Very cool. And then tell us more about who we have coming up. This is going to be a recurring segment. Normally, Siraj and I do this in one take, but this is going to be just a open door, rotating just door of different
so this is
athletes.
a competition now. This is game day. Like I said, we're in the Coliseum, and you guys are our sideline reporters.
There we go.
So as we go throughout the day, you're going to hear from our NFL, business partner on this, Amir Carlisle. He'll give us the NFL perspective. But we're going to get the players who are actually pitching these competitions. So you're going to get a little bit of like, tell us a little about the company you're pitching. Give us the pregame. What's going on out there? Yeah. And then at the end, we're going to have a Gatorade towel, a little bottle of water, get the post game saying, okay, we had your prediction. Now what actually happened? How did you go? What went well? What didn't go well? So I look at us as like you guys are the Scott Van Pelt on the sideline, really getting in the trenches with us on Biz Week and really getting in the trenches with us on the hustle activation. And then maybe you guys got to give us a prediction based on what you hear in the beginning. Yeah. Let's put you guys to the test a little bit right now. Who do you think's going to come out on top?
Hell yeah. Let's do that. Justin, I appreciate you for coming on. Thank you for having us. This is going to be an awesome event. I'm looking forward to seeing all these other cool companies. And I'm excited to talk to Amir.
Yeah.
Our next guest.
Let's get him on.
Justin, thank you.
Yeah, of course, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Amir Carlisle.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming on. We actually met before a couple months ago. We were at Columbia Sports Business Summit, right?
Yeah, Summit. I think in November.
In November. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And when we saw each other today, immediately recognized each other.
Yeah.
So excited to have you on, man. Yeah. Tell us more about what your involvement is with NFL Biz Week and Athlete+Us.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, first off, I'm excited to be here. It's great to see you both. Great to see that the business is growing. And so, my involvement, I just started. So as Justin said, I was at the University of Notre Dame prior to this. Go Irish. I'm an alumni. I was on our football staff there, made my way to New York City. Quite the transition, South Bend, Indiana to New York. And got here September, hit the ground rolling. Justin and I met early on in my tenure. And, he just the same exuberance that he had sitting down with you guys, he brought that to me. And
he's very well spoken, by the way, right?
Yeah, super well spoken. He can really articulate the vision as to how we need to do more and what this can become just from a community standpoint, a culture standpoint. So, it's been great working with him. Share the same ethos. I played at USC, played at Notre Dame, didn't have the 11-year career that Justin had, played a year with the Cardinals, but still, had the opportunity to put the jersey on. And, a lot of my friends have had long careers in the NFL, and, just seeing guys, and we all have kind of gone through this experience where, the game is done at some point. Mm-hmm. And we've played this game ever since we were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. And when it's done, you feel like you lose a bit of yourself. Mm-hmm. And it's tough. A lot of times guys have this identity crisis. I did. I was sitting in the room just looking at the ceiling like, man, what comes next? And, when Justin came and was like, man, I have this idea that we did last year on how we can, further empower and develop and uplift and put guys in the rooms that are going to help them be successful for many years to come and create this brotherhood and community around, succeeding off the field. I was like, I'm sold. And, we've been planning this event since probably October, November last year. So it's been amazing just to see all the hard work come to fruition, all the people that have been involved in this, having you guys involved in this. So it's been exciting to say the least.
That's awesome.
So it's obviously first partnership with NFL and NFLPA. Mm-hmm. That's what Justin said, and I think that's awesome. It seems like the NFLPA is making a lot of strides for getting athletes involved in entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. I'm curious, what do we see in the next 2 to 3 years with the Players Association providing resources and support around these athletes as they're about to transition, whether they're retiring or about to start their own business on the side?
Yeah. So the NFLPA has done a great job historically of just being able to providing resources, providing support, access to capital, tuition reimbursement. They do so much to provide guys with the tools to help them be successful. I think now where, you have the league and the PA, we're collaborating, we're working together, we're on the same page. Through collaboration, I think we can only achieve greater together. And so, what's to come, I really kind of my vision and the vision of our group and what we're discussing behind the scenes is, you have all these great resources. How do we actually bring everything together and create very tangible pathways where, you have players that have operated within a level of structure for their entire lives. Since you're in high school, they're told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Go to college, everything is scheduled around the game and how to improve and be the best version of yourselves. And really kind of where I think of elevating this, especially around the verticals of entrepreneurship, financial empowerment, et cetera, really comes down to how do we bring that same level of structure and support to the player and their off the field endeavors. And so that's where I think we can make the most impact coming together collectively is, okay, how do we make sense of all these pieces of the puzzle? How do we bring them together to create a cohesive picture where a guy isn't as lost or they don't feel like the onus is entirely on them to figure it out, but truly we can maximize the impact of the resources because there is a level of continuity as to how they're engaged with and how we actually are using them to help guys develop.
That makes sense. Amir, I don't know if you've seen this, but we've started to feel it where we started with our newsletter and we started taking pieces of our newsletter and putting them into short form content. And we've reached a completely different segment when we're making like 60-second videos on sports business, a bunch of inbound by athletes, surprisingly. I think what we're seeing is there are more athletes, younger folks now that are just playing on the field, on the court, and then they're actively interested in like the business of stuff. I don't know if you've seen that as well, but like we've been seeing, it's been like a vibe. I don't know if it's a shift or like a rise of this kind of new vibe of these players that are interested in the business and stuff off court and off field. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I think you can give credit to, guys like a Larry Fitzgerald, or Kelvin Beachum, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, who have made, really creating an identity off the court, off the field, cool. And you're seeing, Kevin Durant, 35 Ventures investing, and you see Saquon Barkley, and you see his post go viral as to what his investment portfolio looks like. And so, this is something Justin and I have discussed is like, how do we make that the new flex? And I think you're starting to see that shift. And then you combine that with NIL, and now you have to be your own business. And so these conversations that didn't happen until you got to the league are now happening in high school even. Yeah. And so I think that, all these different variables have contributed to that shift, which is, it's an amazing time to be in this space, as you guys probably can attest to. And I think there's just so much more to come.
100% agree.
100%. And honestly, I have to echo on the NIL in college. Like, we're seeing athletes that are in college that now have minority ownerships in teams, right? We were talking about Juju Watkins, right? Who has ownership in the NWSL team in Boston, right? So I think that everyone's starting off very early, and it's great that the league is providing so much support and resources to help propel that, right? They're already coming in and like, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. Now that there's infrastructure set up to say, hey, like, we're going to help you achieve that.
Yeah. I think that to your point, the infrastructure piece is so crucial. And this is something I believe in wholeheartedly, is that when you think about how do you educate and empower, well, you got to build infrastructure and education in combination. You can't just say, hey, here, just look it up on ChatGPT. It's like, how do we build the infrastructure? Obviously, these are tools that can be helpful, but like, how do you wrap it around where the structure, the infrastructure reinforces the education, so you're actually able to, lift all boats. Rising tides lift all boats in that sense. So 100% agree with you on that front.
Amir, well, I'm super excited. I can speak for probably both of us here. We're super pumped for the rest of this event. Who else do you think we should talk to next?
Shoot, you got to talk to my guy Alex right here, man. Alex, but no, and I want to give a special shout out just to everyone who is involved in this. It's been just a tremendous pleasure working with Athlete+Us on this, being able to take a large vision and elevate, as Justin said, what was done last year in Nike headquarters and New York Stock Exchange and the Core Club. It's been really awesome, and obviously what we're doing here at Ramp today. Special shout out to all of our partners that we've worked with throughout this. NFLPA, most definitely. I think that there's a lot to come there as to how we collaborate and really work together, and everybody at the league office that, has been a part of making this happen, and to the players. At the end of the day, you got to want better for yourself.
That's true. Absolutely.
And, you got to be courageous to take that first step. And even just thinking about what's about to happen now, this is outside the domain of a lot of their expertise. And you got to be a little bit uncomfortable, but you got to be willing to be uncomfortable to grow. And so just a special shout out to the 31 guys that made it out to New York City to be a part of this. So this has been fun. I'm excited to hear you guys' little sidebar interviews on this, and it's going to be a fun competition.
Thanks for coming on.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Let's run it.
Darnay, thanks for coming on, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all, man. Fourth quarter, man. I'm in the first quarter right now.
He's in the first quarter. So tell them who you are.
Yeah, Darnay Holmes from Pasadena, California. Graduated from UCLA. Was drafted to the Giants in 2020. Finished my contract out there. Did 2 years in Vegas because I wanted to get closer to my family, being from California. And then once that expiration date ran out, I wanted to expand my resources, expand my network and my branding. I was able to go to Vegas and build a house, so God be the glory for that. And once I was able to get a residential situation, I'm like, all right, let's go back to the East Coast and figure out what's best for me after football. So I signed to the Atlanta Falcons, and I feel like
Shout out Atlanta.
Shout out to the A, man.
Let's go.
I feel like ever since I touched down, bro, just been a lot of empowerment, bro. And as you get older, you start understanding, like, you got to have a selective group of shoulders that you can rub on and can grow with. And I feel like Atlanta is the place for me to do that. So I'm excited for the opportunity for sure.
Well, I'm personally excited, man, and I'm pumped for you.
Yes, sir.
So, Darnay, tell us, I guess, like, what you're doing today. What's the business you're working on? So supposedly all the players are split up into different groups. So, like, what is your business that you're building?
Yeah, so the business that we're building, first off, is, I don't know if the crowd is dog owners. Are you a dog owner?
I'm not a dog owner, but we might be.
My older brother is actually moving to New York.
There we go. We got a dog owner behind the lenses over there. And I feel like the biggest inconvenience is scooping up your dog's poop. You wake up early in the morning, got to walk your dog. That's an inconvenience. And then you got poop. You got to grab your dog's poop. That's another inconvenience when you try to make it to work. You probably hit the snooze button, so now you're already running behind. And then also, as athletes, we're always traveling, and it's hard to it's a disservice to come back when you got a backyard full of poop. When you got your mom watching the house, that's not her obligation to scoop the poop. You better watch the house, Mom. So I'm not telling you to do that. And then you got dog trainers dog walkers who's making you paying a crazy fee just to walk your dog, scoop the dog poop, play with the dog for X amount of time, which you really don't know if it's true because you're not looking at the cameras. You're gone, you're doing work things. So it's called Poop Bird. And Poop Bird is pretty much a device that's going to be able to scoop up your dog's poop in resemblance to when the dog's actually pooping. And that's where we got collaboration with Woof. Woof is a dog service that pretty much monitors the dog's health. So with that, it's going to be connected with our actual system, which is a machine that's going to pick up the dog's poop, sanitize the actual area with a great smell, and just know you're going to have a clean yard. For me, I was interested in it because I have HOA. And with the HOA, they are very concerned with common areas and front lines having dog poop, So this is going to get rid of my HOA fines that I receive.
There we go.
And it's going to get rid of my fellow teammate who had a backyard full of dog because he was traveling. So, hopefully it works out for us. I know we got some great competitors out there. I've been hearing different concepts that's coming around. So I believe in the mission. I believe in the goal. And if y'all want to come join and throw some funds into it, man, let us know.
You heard the man. So wait, Darnay, so is it, if I'm understanding this correctly, it's like a little robot that follows it?
Yeah, so exactly. So I don't know if you guys got the one that vacuums your house. I forgot what that company is called.
Roomba.
A Roomba.
Yes, it's a Roomba for dogs.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, we just thought of it because we was all dog owners and we just tired of picking up dogs.
Honestly, I could see like the city of New York just buying it.
They
entirely.
need
it because honestly, like no one picks up their dog poop in this city.
Man.
And so honestly, they should just have the government just buy a bunch of
what do you think in New York? Have you been inspired by like walking around and be like, yeah, this place needs this product?
I actually feel sad for the dogs that they don't have no grass to poop on, bro. Like,
yeah, that's
I saw
fair.
a dog
honestly,
just sniffing the concrete, and he just like, bruh. And I looked at him like, bruh, I know, like, you don't got nowhere to go but Central Park, and your owner ain't gonna take you there, so go back inside. But definitely, sanitation is something that our tax dollars need to go to. So if the policy comes in place where they want to fund us and give us a grant to promote this new machinery, we all for it.
I love it. I actually see a use case for this because I was walking home from work recently, Darnay, and a homeless man was going crazy, and I was like, this is like, this is New York, like, typical New York, I guess. But then I was walking by him, and he was yelling at somebody because they didn't pick up their dog poop. So it is a problem.
Brand ambassador. If you find that guy, we will sponsor.
He's the ambassador. Darnay, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on, and I'm excited to see the pitch.
No, yes, sir. Likewise, Bo.
Carl,
Yeah.
thank you for joining the show, man.
Glad to be here, man.
Tell them who you are.
My name is Carl Davis. I've been 10 years in the NFL, and I'm a serial entrepreneur now, and man, looking to get after it today.
It's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us what you're building today.
So right now we're actually working on solving a problem right now that is, I think, is a crisis across any sport industry right now. And there's so many different transactions that happen out, during the season. In the NFL, NBA. And so right now, one of the hardest things is when you get a call and they tell you to bring your iPad to the office, well, you're most likely headed to another team or you're going home. But we're talking about in the sense of somebody gets traded, you have to go somewhere. If you get cut and you get picked up by another team, you're gone within less than 24 hours. So one of the things that you don't want to have to deal with is housing. So right now, we're working on a project when it comes to housing placement and building a syndicate right now that where we basically pull money together and basically help house athletes. So this can be, we're working on some things right now where it's going to be a membership model or kind of a lease type of deal model, and then you can kind of get out of it. Also, this will be something that we plan on tokenizing so that actually players can actually invest in and have fractional investing in this property and have some ownership, whether, across the whole league. So this is something that we're working on starting in one city, but we want to eventually expand across the whole U.S.
Wait, this is
actually really smart. That's awesome.
So Darnay was the man before, but he pitched us a dog picking, dog poop picking
they're
up
gonna
robot.
lose.
Yeah.
Sucks.
So
my bad. I'm not
no. You can say whatever you want. Wait, so this, did you think of this today?
Yeah, we thought of this today.
Really?
Wow.
In
Yeah.
the last few hours?
Yes, that's what we've been working on.
Do you see yourself continuing to do this after today?
You know what's funny about this? I actually had this conversation when I was playing in New England, and we was in a sauna. I talked to a whole bunch of guys about it, and we was having meetings, and we just didn't follow through with it. So this is something I definitely be open to following up with it, because if you think about it, like you look throughout the course of the year, guys get cut every day, guys get signed to new teams every day.
Mm-hmm.
Those transactions are going to happen. Those teams are going to be, the NFL is not going anywhere. And these players are going to, it's a open door, a revolving door.
Right.
Guys are going to come in. People need a place to stay always. And if I'm able to come in and have a nice apartment to stay that's built for you, like, you know what I mean, as an athlete, and it's catered to you, and it's near the stadium or near the facility, your life just got that much easier instead of living in a hotel. The NFL gives you 2 weeks when you get there to find a place to stay. And who's to say you're actually going to stay? So now I'm tied into a lease probably. So if I get into a lease or Airbnb, or I'm still in a hotel, which I don't want to do that. I don't have a kitchen or nothing like that. But now you have to actually have access. And if I was to get cut or go somewhere, I know that this model is in another city and I don't have to worry about housing.
Gotcha. So what are some of the amenities that you would want to put in some of these apartments?
Oh man, some of the amenities, we were kind of wrestling with some of these ideas, and it's really catered towards us right now, right? But this thing will kind of evolve, because you're thinking about the MLS, you're talking about NBA, hockey, you know what I mean? Because all these teams do these transactions, right? So one of the things we talk about is something that's specifically catered to the athlete, depending on. So for example, we're starting off in Foxborough. I got a couple ex-teammates in there. We all play for the Patriots. So in Foxborough, it's 45 minutes away from Boston, right? So we talking about putting something in the stadium, and the practice facility is in the same venue. So we put something in Foxborough, right? And this apartment will be able to have basically almost like a projector screen, so we can actually watch film. And it'll have amenities like, things you don't want to do, like, especially for single guys, if you want, we might have additional add-on like laundry services, potentially have a chef. So these are services that the players can actually pay for themselves. But outside of that, it's really catered towards, being the best you can be, even recovery, down to adding recovery boots to their suite or wherever they stay, and just trying to figure out what's best for these athletes. You know what I mean? When they go, so they can go, because the job is to go perform, right? You don't want to have to deal with all this type of stuff. You want to be able to stick to your plan, and that's the hardest thing. When you already have a system and you're playing for another team, and then you go to another team, to be able to stick to your plan, your routine, your recovery, and get comfortable in your space is huge.
So if I were a player and I was wanting to participate in this, sauna, cold plunge, red light therapy, it's all these different things that I'd want in my apartment. Have you heard of Aescape?
I have not heard of
Okay,
it.
so it's like an AI-powered robotics masseuse table. It's like blowing up, this startup.
It's like the thing with like the two little hands.
Yeah.
I actually seen that. I don't know how good the massages are, but I mean, hey.
Brady actually invested. I think
he's like the chief innovation officer
officer for them.
Yeah.
I don't know how that thing's gonna actually feel a trigger point in my back, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, well, I hope I see this after, and let us know if you actually end up raising money for this, man.
Absolutely, we definitely will. So that's the plan, and we're looking to kick ass today. We think we got the best idea, and I stand behind that. I hope we don't get crushed by the Sharks, but I'm sure we got a good plan.
You're in first place for us right now.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about, man.
Carl,
Hopefully these guys behind me don't have a great idea.
Carl, you're the man. Thank you for coming on, man.
Me, yo, sure.
David,
how's it going?
Welcome to the fourth quarter, man.
I'm glad to be here.
Tell them who you are and what your company is.
Okay, I'm David Long Jr. This will be my 8th year coming up in the league.
Wow.
2021 Super Bowl champion, 3rd round pick, 2019, and alum at University of Michigan. The company that we're putting together is called Field. So it's a concierge service for athletes. There's really nothing like it in the market, and I think we're solving a really big problem with the NFL, but also across professional sports, where you got teams that want to protect their investments. You pay a guy $100 million. You want to, oversee his rehab, his training, where he's going. Even right now today, when you leave the facility, you have to write down, where I'm going to be training in the off season. Players who are traveling, like me this week, what if I want to go work out or I want to get some PT work? I have to find a trusted physician, doctor, facility, somewhere that I like. And then 3, for maybe a smaller or independent practitioner, doctor, trainer that's not working with a big company. Maybe he's has a following on TikTok or Instagram. It's an easy platform for me to find this person. And it also expands into different things. You need finance help with, maybe you need for real estate guys that are on 1-year contracts, month to month, things of that nature. So it expands in a broad sense, and then it also trickles down to maybe more general doctor work for the common person. Is a platform, subscription-based, that you're allowed. But like I said, we're going to be spearheading through athletes because that's a problem there, and just working back from there.
Gotcha. So a trusted network of these service providers specifically for athletes.
Exactly.
Siraj, how do you feel about that? I actually like this
I
a
like
lot,
this.
man.
I like this idea a lot. So I'm guessing the first main application is, obviously you guys are traveling a lot during the off season. It's getting partnered with the right physicians. Do you see the league getting involved where they're like, hey, this is our trusted network. This is NFL's trusted network or NBA's?
So, I think that's the biggest thing. You got guys that are, there's different type of players obviously in the league. Oh, sorry about that. I'll move that up. So, there's different type of players in the league. If you're a $100 million player, you get a little bit more leeway to go where you want to go. And then sometimes, there's trainers or facilities that guys don't, or teams don't want guys working at. So this provides a platform for teams to have some say-so, players to go somewhere where they feel is trusted, and trusted in a sense that, these aren't physicians or facilities that are paying for these reviews. These are, vetted through, the system of, maybe having a year on the app or the platform, being confirmed by 3 or 4 high-level players, used across multiple sports or multiple entities, whether it's the NBA, MLB. And so these are the tiers of being, verified and solidified on the platform. And it's easy to use, whether I'm here in New York or if I'm planning to travel somewhere, I can look up on this app. And like I said, I think we have a nice place in the market because there's nothing like this, and this is a problem. And there's also incentive for it to be implemented on the NFL side, especially with rookies, because you got undrafted guys that maybe they get into the league and they don't have that much money. Obviously, you got NIL now, but guys don't get into the league with a lot of money, and they don't really have any direction for where they want to go. So this is a one-stop shop for everything that you need. It can be implemented, like I said, in rookie success programs that they already established in the NFL. And again, there's incentive for the NFL because it's protecting their investment. If you don't have guys just working out anywhere where you don't feel comfortable, and then maybe you have a guy that, you just paid him and he's having surgery in the offseason, he wants to go back home. Now you have a platform where you can collaborate with that trainer, that PT, that doctor, and everything streamlined into one location where it's I'm not playing phone tag with this person. It's not he say, she say. It's all a, one-stop shop for this player.
David, this is such an interesting idea that I'm surprised it doesn't exist yet. Yeah. Right? Why don't you think it exists yet?
So, I think that's always a good and a bad thing when you think about investments. The biggest thing I think is most players aren't really thinking in that lens, and probably guys, this will be my 8th year, and they're just people they'll figure it out. But my line of thought is the best inventions, even things like Yelp, they didn't really solve a new problem. They just made it easier to do. You know, we already had yellow pages, but it's like now I can go on my phone and search something, and it makes it that much quicker. Like they're not necessarily creating anything new. They're just making it more efficient. So that's my thought process. You know, you might have an agent or you with a big agency. You have to call 3 or 4 people to get to this one-stop shop. Whereas now everything's right here. It's a trusted and reliable source, and you know it's verified, invested through the platform, and then it's trusted and backed by NFL players and professional organizations.
That's really, really cool.
I actually think this could be a really great service for these physicians, right? Because now a lot of them might not have the recognition, but they might have a lot of athlete trust, and then now they're on a network. And then you have other athletes, when they're visiting that city, they can be like, hey, I'll go to this one instead of just like calling a bunch of people and trying to figure it out myself.
It's also great branding for the practice themselves, right? You got a stamp of approval from the athletes, right?
And that's what I was getting at as well. Like you get a great stamp of approval, and you, like I said, you have some of these smaller trainers that maybe they're in the office building on the 5th floor in the corner, and they have to go out to these youth camps and try to advertise themselves. Now they can put themselves on the platform. I work with, Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, X, Y, and Z, and there's an outlet for me to use these people. And then even from a third layer, what I was thinking about is the data that you collect from this and the environment that you're building. Maybe you have a guy that's doing a startup and he has a new ankle brace, a patent for an ankle brace. He can pay for ads because this is his market, so there's a premium for the people that you're going to be around if you pay for this type of ad or pay to have this ad on this platform.
I really like the way you're thinking about this, man.
This is an awesome idea.
Well, thank you for coming on.
No, thank
and I'm
you.
excited to see you guys pitch up there. And
hopefully this turns into a real business.
That'd
be awesome.
You got to see this through. This is cool. There's some likes to this.
I'm excited. I'm excited to get up there, talk about our idea. It's something I've been thinking about for a while. And the guys on the team, they did a really good job with just breaking it down and just talking about some other angles I wasn't thinking about. But I think this is something that can actually come to life and be something that's real.
Hell yeah. David, you're the
Awesome.
man.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Chris, welcome to the fourth quarter.
Appreciate you guys for having me.
Of course. Tell them who you are.
I'm Chris Manhertz, 12-year NFL veteran, tight end for the New York Giants.
That's amazing. What are you building today?
I am building an AI app, more specifically an app that is a marketplace for AI agents. And this is something relatively kind of new for a lot of people as we're in this AI stage of time in history. And I figured it would be a good opportunity to get ahead of all of this.
This is super interesting. So just to give you a rundown, not to spoil the competition for you, but we were pitched a dog poop picking up app or a robot. We had an athlete concierge, 2 kind of athlete concierge businesses.
One for real estate, one felt more for health.
Of basically like helping athletes as they transition, whether they get traded or not, or move to different cities. This is the first business today that we got pitched that's not to do with either like pure consumer hardware
or athletes.
Mm-hmm. This is pretty technical.
Yes.
What inspired this? Are you into AI and stuff like that?
I'm very much so into AI, the possibilities, and more so just the amount of time you're able to save if you're, going to appropriately deploy a robot, if you will, to automate tasks for you and make decisions on your behalf.
Are you actively investing or interested in playing around with a lot of these current AI tools that are out in the market right now?
Absolutely. I think I use every single one of them.
That's awesome.
And I think part of the deal is really because it's so competitive, and every week, every month, every hour, the landscape kind of changes as far as like what the capabilities of these things are. I think it's equally as important to kind of expose yourself to all of these apps and get used to the user interface and understand how to use them, and more importantly, what to use them for.
It's a little intimidating based off of how fast everything's moving in AI. I know, like, us included sometimes have AI, like, analysis paralysis. We're like, dang, we didn't even get to try this tool, and then, like, 3 other versions of it just dropped. So that's very cool that you're playing around with everything. What's your favorite tool right now?
I use Claude a lot. I use ChatGPT a lot. I use Google's Notebook LM a lot to summarize a lot of things from a learning perspective. I use quite a bit of all of them, and all different use cases for me as an athlete, for me personally. It kind of optimizes my life and makes things a lot more efficient.
Do you integrate a lot of AI tools in just preparation as well as an athlete, or is it mainly for personal stuff?
No, I mean, to the athlete standpoint, I use a AI note taker. I use Otter AI as far as taking notes for me, whether it be in meetings on the football field, whether it be Zoom calls or business calls. You kind of document everything so that you're able to sift through that information and digest it appropriately. I think it's very important to understand that the mind should be used for only thinking and not storage. So why not have some type of app or some type of system that kind of helps you work through that and does all the groundwork and just allows you to have time to think and create and just free your mind, if you will.
So do you see in the locker room other teammates or player friends that are adept with AI, or do you think you're like way far ahead of the curve right now?
I think I'm a little bit ahead of my peers.
Okay.
Because again, this is still relatively new, kind of synonymous with, whenever the .com bubble was and internet came out. So I still feel like, although every week there's things added to the AI, ecosystem, I still think we're in the infancy stages of what the possibilities could become with these type of things.
Do you see yourself doing this business and continuing it after today?
Yeah, why not? Like I said, it's something that I've slowly integrated into my workflow, slowly integrated into my just daily life. And, it's kind of exciting just to know what the possibilities could be as far as, being able to use it and being able to maximize whatever and amplify whatever it is that you want to do. So to me, I think the options are unlimited.
100%. I think with this idea in particular, wait, what was it? Malt Book that just sold to Meta?
Book, yeah.
I think
like
it was
a bunch of AI agents talking to each other on an app.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the capabilities are getting so insane.
Just got acquired by Meta. So this idea has some legs to it, I think.
Yeah, I think it'll be good, and more importantly, you always got to think and lead with solutions. What type of problems is it going to solve? And albeit a lot of people don't know about this space to the degree that they should as a whole, but once they really realize and understand the use cases behind these things, and whether it be a small business owner in terms of saving time and saving money, they'll realize that it's a pretty good investment as far as like learning and engulfing yourself with that type of AI ecosystem.
Well, I'm excited to see you pitch up there and what the crowd thinks of it, and I'm personally bullish.
Yeah, I'm very bullish on that. There was actually someone was pitching something similar, like an AI agent marketplace, to I think Larry Page, one of the Google founders. And he was like, "That's a great idea."
Yeah, it was Sergey.
Sergey.
Yeah.
So, Google CEO or Google founder thinks this is a great idea too.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's good to be among the first because there's always going to be competition. So you just kind of have to figure out ways to kind of differentiate yourself and make yourself stand out among all the competition, which is fun for me.
100%. Thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate your time.
Welcome to the show, man. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Tell them who you are and what you guys are building today.
Okay, I'm Chris Streveler. I've been a professional quarterback for 8 years, recently retired, transitioning into the next phase of life. So what we've developed today is an intracranial brain pressure monitor.
Tell me more.
Yeah, okay.
I need to hear this.
So right now, there's no quantifiable data to measure a physiological change from a concussion. Right now, you're sent into a blue tent. You're evaluated by a head trainer and an independent neurologist. They ask you a series of questions, they look at you, and they make a subjective determination on whether or not you can play. What if we gave you real data to measure that the brain pressure had changed due to a head trauma? That's what we have, and that's what we're going to implement with. We're going to start with the NFLPA, get that across the teams, show that we have a proof of concept that can help improve brain health, and then hopefully be able to prevent concussions, help further evaluate guys and get them out of the game when they need to get out of the game.
So it sounds like you're super passionate about this.
Yeah.
Is this something you want to continue outside of today?
Maybe. I think it's a great idea, and you'll see in our hook, there's actually a video of me getting absolutely rocked in college, like knocked out. I finished the game, and talking to the guys in the room, asking who's ever had a concussion. A lot of guys said they never had a concussion. When you ask them, have you ever felt like you're seeing stars or a little bit woozy? Of course you have. Regular people don't experience that, guys. That's a concussion. Just because you didn't get knocked out doesn't mean that there wasn't a physiological change in your body, that you had a reaction to head trauma. And so I think if we're able to to prove that there is actually science and you can measure that, I think it could change the way that we evaluate concussions, help player safety, and ultimately help longevity of lives, mental health. There's a big conversation around that now, and I think the conversation gets so much deeper. You can branch that out into the military. You can commercialize it for youth sports. Maybe you can implement it into helmets. So I don't know. It's an exciting idea. I'm just fired up about it right now.
I love it. I'm fired up.
Yeah, I'm fired up. So the concussion protocol right now, right? Like, let's say maybe outside the blue tent, outside the game, what does it look like in the NFL, college, and even youth sports right now?
Right. So a lot of times there's a baseline that you're given at the beginning of the year. So you get your physical, and what it is, it's kind of like a 30-minute test that you do online. So they give you some memory, there's some shapes, there's some reaction time, and I spoke pretty honestly about this to my team, so I'll say it to you guys as well. Something that I always did was like, I'd maybe miss a couple questions on that on purpose at the beginning of the year, because I knew if something happened, I felt obligated I need to get back in the game. So there's ways around these tests. Again, in game, you come out, you're evaluated by an independent neurologist, team doctor. They do that whole thing, maybe some balance, maybe some, eye test, memory. If you're deemed you're not able to play, then you're sent into concussion protocol where you then have to complete that test. Thus the fact that, hey, maybe I got a couple wrong, maybe it'll help me out on the back end. And then, from there, they're able to determine, are you having symptoms and can you return to play?
So what does this device actually look like? Is it something that's like on the helmet? Is it something that's happening after the fact that like goes on? You said it's like an implant. Like how does that, or
it's not an implant. It's just something you put on the side of the head.
Okay.
And this is actually just
like a suction kind of?
Yeah, it's cool. A patent that's already with NASA right now.
Oh, really?
This is a proven technology.
Wait, you did research on this. This is cool.
Yeah, we dove in deep.
Okay.
We dove in deep.
That's dope.
And so the thought is you start out by giving every team a couple of them. And when it's used is at the beginning of the year during that baseline. We get a baseline for your brain pressure. Now you've come out of the game, you're in the blue tent getting evaluated. As I'm asking you these questions, we're also getting a reading here. So there's a technological component of the device we're putting on you, and there's also a software component as well. So that's kind of where it starts, and then the idea is as you're able to get down production costs and implement this in other areas, you're able to use it in other sectors, like I said, military, college, youth sports, but maybe we can put it into helmets. And maybe we can just build it into the helmet, and you're able to then test the brain pressure from there if it doesn't, it's not anything implanted. So that's kind of the thought.
I like what you said about military being a potential use case. They have huge contracts. I think it would be a great use case there.
Yeah, and I think you just have to be able to get maybe the NFLPA on board and say, hey, this is a product we have. We're going to test it. We're going to get data. And once you show that you're able to quantify some of these things, I think you're kind of off to the races with military and other sectors. So it's exciting.
Yeah, and what's great with working with the NFL and the military is that once you get those contracts in, right, you guys are doing such a service, there's no way that they can ever backtrack because it's providing so much value from a health front.
Yeah. And like I said, it goes into quality of life, mental health, which you all know is so important. I mean, there's a lot of stats on concussions and mental health and these things that NFL players and other people are dealing with. So if you can kind of start at the root problem of concussions and nipping that in the bud right away, then I think you're kind of affecting the entire chain down the line.
I'm excited to see you guys up there.
I'm excited to get up there.
There we go. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, man. This was fun.
Yeah.
Kendall, tell us who you are.
My name is Kendall Williamson. I am originally from Georgia. I went to Stanford University and now playing for the LA Chargers. Just finished on my third year.
Awesome. I'm actually from Georgia as well.
Okay,
from the Johns Creek area. I'm not
Okay.
sure what part of Georgia are you from?
Gwinnett County.
Gwinnett County. No way. What
Yeah.
high school did you go to?
Brookwood.
Brookwood. Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay, we went to Chattahoochee High School.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's dope.
Okay, that's awesome. So, obviously, like, pretty close to Atlanta. We're just going to say you fellow Atlantan.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about your pitch today.
So our pitch was for AMP. AMP is going to be an AI agent marketplace. So basically, our target market is really open to a lot of consumers, but we're going to start off initially with mothers who have a lot to do during their day, a lot of college and pro athletes trying to build their brands, trying to also manage their time. It's pretty difficult. So an agent that can help with that. Agents can help with that as well. And then a small and medium business owner. So basically, this is a marketplace where they can go find an agent to help them with more administrative tasks.
Awesome. So your teammate Chris was talking a lot about it pre-pitch.
Yeah.
I know you guys gave the full pitch now.
Yeah.
Had a little bit of Q&A with some of the judges who were VCs, founders, also C-suite at major companies like the NYSE. Tell me a little bit about that Q&A. How did it go?
Yeah.
Any feedback that you got from them?
Yeah, I think it went well. Some of the some of the questions that they had, we were still probably looking for answers potentially. I mean, we had 3 hours to build the pitch and build it from scratch. They definitely opened up a couple of issues that may arise, but there were things that I feel like if we had more time, we could potentially answer those questions. But I think it went well overall.
Gotcha. So is this your first experience with entrepreneurship, or is this something that's like not your first time doing a pitch, like you built a business before?
Well, so I graduated with a mechanical engineering degree with a focus in product design. So for our senior capstone, we kind of took a product that we had a team, took a product and took it from ideation to market. Some people actually, took their products to market. We didn't, because we had, a couple of different people into different things. But so it's not my first time, but it has been for a while where I've done something similar like this.
Gotcha. So from NFL Biz Week with Ramp and Athlete+Us, what is the one big takeaway or learning that you got for something that you could apply to on your next business venture?
I'd probably say be confident in whatever you're creating. Be confident in that. And maybe that's even yourself, but just be confident in that and continue to ideate, continue to find ways to get better.
Awesome.
Yes,
Kendall,
sir.
thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate you. Yes, sir.
Chase, welcome to the fourth quarter. Post game, you just pitched. How do you feel?
Feel pretty good, to be honest. You always, when the bullets get real, as we say in football, things speed up. And I think we, as a group, did a good job of trying to stay on task, eyes on the prize, as you would call it, speak clearly, make sure you don't talk too much. I always tell people less is more.
Yeah.
When you're pitching to an investment group or you're pitching to a fund, they're going to look for ways and find ways as to why they should keep their money. Don't give them those reasons, kind of go less is more. Let them ask some questions, and then we can get into the Q&As. But I really do feel well about the business model that we had and overall just the business idea that we had.
So I was most bullish on your guys' thing in the pregame.
Yeah.
When I heard, so David on your team gave us the pitch. And for those that are now, we're stitching the videos together, can you give them a quick rundown of what you guys were building?
Yeah, so basically a quick rundown of what we're building is, right, you have at the tip of the spear, right, athletes are our go-to market. For professional athletes, especially for the younger guys, you have this routine, this structure during the season. Your team tells you to be here, ABC. That's easy, right? But then all of a sudden, that changes. You get into the off season, you no longer have your routine. Maybe you're traveling from place to place. We really feel like as athletes, when we travel, you rely way too much on word of mouth and different people's experiences, or they just have different results. And we tried to find a way to make a platform to have authentically real vetted practitioners, whether it's physical therapists, whether it's massage therapists, whether it's doctors. You just had a surgery, you want to look for a second opinion. Which doctor can I trust that, maybe he operated on someone and he came back from ACL? So really creating a validation system that vets these doctors and these practitioners, and being able to have a trustworthy source and a platform for our athletes to go to and feel confident in.
So you opened up on stage for the pitch. How does that feel compared to playing on the field?
Bro, I love it.
Yeah?
I'm going to be
What do you like more?
I love football, man, and I'm grateful for the doors that football has got me into, but I think one thing that I'm learning about myself is I honestly didn't give myself a real shot and give my persona to the world. And now, I just went to the film workshop 2 weeks ago at the NFL had. They gave me Best Actor.
Hell yeah,
okay. And I just love talking, bro. I have a good energy about me. I did really well at the broadcast boot camp. I'm loving this. I'm loving the doors that I'm getting involved with. And, the icebreaker that I did during the pitch, they told me to do that. And I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling that. But, energy just always transpires things. Yeah. And we kind of made it work with the little massage question.
So sitting in the audience when you cracked that joke and that icebreaker, it, eased the tension, you know? People were more receptive to the pitch, which is really cool.
Really cool, yeah.
Chase, tell me more about what you're thinking, not necessarily post-career, but off-field stuff, right?
Oh, yeah,
Are you interested in the business realm?
Oh, my gosh.
Tell me more about that.
Bro, I'm so interested. Right now, I already have a real estate portfolio that does pretty well for me.
Amazing.
But I have an OG in the game. Pugh's one of my OGs, but my guy, Devon Kennard, who kills it. He's crushing it off the field. He kind of just gave me some really good advice. And what I want to get involved with, man, is, one, I want to continue to build my social capital. And what I mean by that is I want to get into film. I want to get on the broadcast boot camps. I want to get in the broadcast booth and really be able to continue to stay relevant for my face. But I'm getting into franchising. I'm looking at doing my first franchise business, bro. And I've been talking to Streveler, who's a former teammate of mine. And I don't want to use the word podcast. I don't really know exactly what this media entity is that we're going to be, but we want to give the lens of non-tier 1 athletes, right? So not someone like Saquon Barkley or Tom Brady who just, as soon as they're done playing, they're going to get a job, bro. Like, it doesn't matter, right, what they do. We want to give it through the lens of what does it mean after the whistle. I think we're going to call it after the whistle.
That's a good name.
Of, like, figuring out life after ball, bro. And, like, documenting that, bringing in some guests and kind of learning about what other former NFL players or NFL guys that are doing and what they're working on off the field. Like, Chris has a dating app that's doing phenomenal that he launched in Phoenix, Arizona, bro. That's killing it, right? I'm trying to get into Hollywood. Like, I'm going back out to Hidden Empire Studios in 2 weeks. I'm going to shadow one of their projects and, like, learn what it is to be an actor.
That's so awesome.
And document that broadcast booth, man. So because I feel like from the fan lens and from the fan perspective, right, the fans see us on the Sundays when the lights are bright, and then they see these, like, sad stories about guys going broke or, like, you know, guys losing their lives and guys kind of struggling. And I think we want to give a real authentic show in that gap. Like, what does it mean to find your way, bro? And, like, just Chris talks about and says getting up shots, putting up shots. I call it ripping and running. But however you want to label that, what does that look like from an athlete's lens, especially from someone that, you know, when we're done playing, we're not going to the grocery store and getting noticed. Like, we really have to figure life out and figure out who we are as men to keep going along the way.
That's such an interesting perspective that most people don't understand.
Yeah.
Right? Only athletes, people in your shoes get that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, one, wishing you the best success.
Appreciate that, brother.
We will be close, so
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm not going to be hearing of. I'm going to be hearing it from you.
I appreciate
And let us know how we can help with the fourth quarter. And when we're on the up and coming as well, and, like, I hope we're having you as a recurring guest on our show at some point.
Yes, sir.
And I want to hear all the updates, and I'm excited, man. I hope broadcasting or acting is what's next.
I think we're going for acting. Broadcasting, bro, puts me in a box.
All right. What's the dream role and, like, the genre of movie?
Well, one thing I'll do is I will send you the scene that I remade.
Okay.
After we get off of this, I did Trading Places, Eddie Murphy. It's a classic if you haven't seen it.
Of course I've seen it.
It's the prison scene.
Yeah.
Where Billy Ray Valentine is talking his talk. But dream role for me, man. I don't know about a dream movie, but, like, really where I want to work on myself, and I've been taking acting classes, is I want to be like a Will Smith. Like, I feel like the comedy era is the comedy genre is pretty easy for me. That's, like, kind of who I am naturally. But I want to be able to be comfortable enough in myself to put on a performance like The Pursuit of Happiness, like 7 pounds, but also still be able to do, like, Hitch and be able to go back to, like, action movies like Bad Boys. Like, so versatility, bro. But whatever gets my foot in the door, that's what I'll be doing first.
I love it. Well, we're definitely going to be watching it. And Chase, appreciate you coming on the post game.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
All right, welcome back, Darnay, with Turd Bird, the automated poop scraper for dogs. I know you just went and did your pitch in front of the judges. I want to get your first reaction or feeling. How is Darnay and the Turd Bird team feeling after that?
Turd Bird, man, we to the top, man. We're going to take over. We was very excited with our pitch. Our biggest thing is getting engagement, and we got a lot of engagement from the crowd. Everybody in the room was familiar with their dog, so I feel like we're doing pretty well right now in the ranks.
Yeah, no, so it seems like the judges, I mean, a lot of them are dog owners.
Yeah.
Totally see that dog poop is a problem. But one thing that caught my attention was the subscription model where you got the Aura Whoop for dogs tracking vitals. So tell me a little bit about that and what the crowd thought about that.
Yeah, so I feel like 9 times out of 10, once we get to our dog, it's too late. You know, your dog ate something, he's pooping it out. You don't catch the first glimpse of the poop. You catch the second glimpse. Now your dog's even sicker than the first minute it was going through. It was going through probably a day or so ago. So the tracker is going to be able to give you health updates about your dog. You know, on your windshield, you got oil changes due on this date.
Yeah.
That whoop and that oil is going to allow you to know, like, it's time for that visit, or your dog poop was wet. You know, so it's going to give them that tracking that's needed to keep their house intact and to make sure that they're taking care of their pet friends, their pet family.
No, 100%. Did you grow up with a dog, or do you own a dog currently?
I own a dog currently. I did grow up with the dog. My mom wasn't going for it, but now she loves my dog. Cause I think because she loves me. That's why she loves my dog. But, yeah, I'm a dog owner now.
Type of dog?
I got Australian Shepherd.
No way. Actually, my older brother has an Aussie Shepherd.
Man,
yeah.
Great dogs, feel the energy. sadly, my dog's a little COVID domesticated. Got him back in 2020 and right in Clifton, New Jersey, and we was locked up in a house, so he don't know how to fetch a ball. So I feel like I'm doing better.
Wait, what's his name?
Ace.
Ace. Okay.
Yeah.
So is Ace gonna use Turdbird?
Man, Ace has already been using Turdbird.
He's already been using Turdbird. Love it. Okay.
So we actually have been doing Ace as the promoter of it. Ace just got an actual sponsorship from PetSmart because of Turdbird. So Ace is living a better life. He ain't eating dry food no more. He ain't eating kibble. We all wet food. He living good. Steaks and shrimps, all that.
Okay, awesome. Sounds like Ace is well fed.
Ace is well fed because of Turdbird, man. I wasn't able to feed Ace like that with my NFL contract. Turdbird taking over.
It's elite. So last question I have for you. Obviously, NFL Biz Week. You know, you're learning a lot about the entrepreneurial path, especially for athletes.
For sure.
What's like one takeaway for the athletes who weren't able to come to NFL Biz Week? What's your one advice or piece of learning that you got here that you'd like to share with your fellow athletes?
Yeah, I'll say first thing will be take initiative on what you want your life to be out the football. Don't wait till that time clock runs out. We all know that feeling when the season is over. It's a feeling of sometimes regret, feeling of remorse, feeling of sorrow because you didn't make it to that playoff. But on the opposite side, if you are looking to take initiative in certain things or certain fields, we was informed that you don't have to always invest at the tier investment that they want you to invest in, such as you got an investor coming up to you saying, our first tier is at 50K, our second tier is at 100K. You could rebuttal that and say, I will give you $5,000 to learn more about this and get more knowledgeable for a month while I'm also investing. And that from there will be able to teach you if this company's for you, if this relationship is suitable, and you'll be able to see that person's character based off their response.
No, 100%. It seems like, especially with the amount of motion that athletes get from business front, right? It's really about picking the right partner and who you're working with. And so I think it's very sound advice, and I feel like it's really important that as athletes are accumulating so much wealth, it's also about working with the right people as well.
Yeah, I feel like our social status weighs more than our dollar amount that they see on the contract, you know. So once you start understanding that NFL shield holds a lot of weight, you're going to start to be able to move differently and put yourself in certain doors that you just as a regular person wouldn't have been able to get into.
100%.
Yes, sir.
Darnay, thank you for coming to the show,
yes,
pre
sir.
and post game. Epic consumer product, Turdbird. We're excited to see it hit the market.
Yeah, man. We did the first quarter. Now we in the fourth quarter, man. Stay tapped in, man. Fourth quarter.
Go.
Thank you for coming on the fourth quarter post game.
Thank you for having me.
Tell them who you are, man.
Cool. My name is Njongmeta. I currently play for the Charlotte Carolina Panthers. I know my team. Have formerly played for the Cincinnati Bengals. Out of Wisconsin, based in Chicago, and a lover of sport.
Maema, how do you feel post pitch? You were crushing it up there. How does it? One, I want to hear how you feel. Are you feeling bullish about your team and your idea? And then how does it compare to playing football on Sundays?
So, you asked a lot of good questions. I feel really good after the pitch. Before the pitch, I also felt really good. I shook all the judges' hands, kind of like a psychological trick. I shook all their hands. I said, "You're going to love this presentation." And I really meant it. We had a really good idea. I felt like our presentation was tight, and we had a great team, like of guys putting it together, led by John Torrance, professor of entrepreneurship from Syracuse University. Like it was great. If anything, I'm disappointed now that it's over because kind of that competitor in me, I'm like, dude, I just one more. Like I just had I could have been a little cleaner here. I stumbled a little bit here. But overall felt really good. You said I look natural up there. Dude, I wish you had seen us practicing. Like I feel like it was even better when we were practicing. But
really,
it was a quality product, and like it was so fun to work with the guys. And what was the last question?
And then how does that compare, like pitching up on stage to playing football on Sundays?
Dude, literally pre-pitch, I was like, dude, my heart's racing. I'm getting dry mouth. Like I feel like, football is an amazing, unique experience that's hard to replace. Like I've been skydiving. That might be literally the closest thing. But when I'm not in season, I'm all about finding ways to kind of like mimic that competitive landscape.
That's awesome.
And like doing something like this, even though it's low stakes, dude, like I'm trying to win that belt. Like I don't care. Like, so being able to have that competitive mindset was really fun. It did feel pregame-ish. I would have been sweating way more, but like in pregame, but it was good, bro. I got
That's
in that mode
hilarious.
for a second. It was awesome.
So for the folks that don't know what you're pitching or what you pitched,
Sure.
tell them what you guys were talking about on stage pitching to the judges.
So basically, we're here for an NFL Business Summit.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're partnering with Ramp. We're in their space, and we're doing a pitch competition. So we had founders who have like basically created their own businesses and either exited or are currently running their own business, and they were floating founders. So they were walking around kind of giving advice. Then we also had five teams, and each team had like a professional with them who is an expert in their field, and that was like the facilitator of that group. And then the groups are made up of current and former NFL athletes who are interested in the business world. So that was the setup. Like we're in this, and it's a pitch competition. We're working for 3 hours, and then for the last hour we've been pitching. Our team had a couple ideas, and then we ended up settling on this patent, this NASA patent. NASA has patents that are open for commercialization. So basically, like, NASA's been like, hey, this technology works. We just need someone to make the business plan behind it, but we have the patent. And it's cool. The cool thing about that is they kind of front the money, and they have a certain legal construct where they'll take 7% royalties, and like they'll front the money. So it's like if you are bold, you have the passion and the brains, like they'll give you the money and you just run with it. And it was an idea that was close to home. Basically, it was it measured brain pressure, like at the very basic level. And so this can be helpful post-concussion. Like it can establish a precedent preseason, and then after concussion, you can use it to measure your symptoms. I hope I'm not rambling. Sorry.
No, this is perfect.
And then it can, even had applications where we could use it in the military for blast exposure, use it in kids' sports. Like everyone, I want my kids to play sports. I also want to protect my kids' head. And then use it in hospitals, like all these different applications at the fraction of the cost of an MRI or a PT scan or a PET scan, which is like the go-to right now. So it was just such a good idea. Like the team was awesome because they jumped on it. Like no one had ego. Like all of us came with an idea, and we were kind of like, awesome. Nah, these aren't good enough. But this idea, like that was kind of out there already in the world. Like we can run with this and we can make something out of it. So I was, look, I'm gonna say something off record after this. It was a great idea. So I'm gonna have to invest it myself.
That's awesome, man. So we've talked before off camera. You have a natural affinity to the business space. You were a finance major.
Yes. From the best school in the nation.
Tell me more about that.
I went to UW-Madison, the real UW for the fake ones out there, the Washington fans. Went there for 5 years, was recruited to play football. And, when you're getting recruited, they're like, fall in love with everything else but the coaches, because the coaches will leave. Fall in love with the campus, the academic life. That was easy for me. Madison's a top-tier school. It's close to home for me, from the Chicago suburbs. And they had a finance program where you could do 4+1, do 4 years of undergrad, do an extra year, 5th year, and graduate with a master's in science, master's of science in finance. Did that, and it worked. So I played football, did the finance undergrad, came back for my 5th year, did the first semester of the finance program, went to the NFL, worked out, was undrafted but made a team, played my whole first season in the NFL, and then I came back in my first off season and finished the second semester of the master's program. Yeah, so that was, it was like looking back, it's like insane because I did a master's in my off season, but good support system, had a good drive, and it was a great program. Like I had professors who helped me. It was amazing. So
that's really interesting. Outside of football, how are you professionally like utilizing that finance degree? Are you like actively investing? Are you interested in that space, like the public markets, real estate, venture? Like how are you thinking about all that?
Dude, so my interest right now is I have a long-term vision for where I want to take my finance brain, the connections I'm making in the NFL, and then like making things that have traditionally been inaccessible to either people who look like me or athletes who don't make it, like big names like Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and making these investing opportunities kind of more accessible. Like I have a long-term vision for that. Currently right now, it's like sharpening my sword, being able to create a proven track record of investing that comes from like, hey, this is my process by myself before anyone else is giving me my money. Like I'm making my own mistakes, making my own investment decisions, and then being mentored by some of the brightest minds out there. So that's kind of my path right now. When I'm not doing finance or football, I am DJing. That is my other love.
So what kind of music?
Bro, every DJ you talk to, they'll be like, bro, I listen to everything. And I do. But if I had to, like, dude, I'm in New York. I'm throwing a set on tonight, no prep. I'm doing Afro House.
Okay.
I'm doing EDM. I'm doing some rap, like some real rap. Like,
okay.
And I'm mixing it all. Like, and at the end of the day, I'm a vibe curator. I'm like, I DJ, but I'm a vibe curator, right? So I'm gonna read the room, and then we're gonna figure out what we need.
So where's the coolest place coolest venue that you've played at?
Bro, okay. Honestly, it was cool to DJ in my college bar just because, like, it's so historic. It's called Wando's. You come in as a freshman, and you're like, bro, I'm trying to go to Wando's, and then to be like a senior DJing there, like, that was really cool. But probably in Cincinnati, I DJ'd at the rooftop of the AC Hotel before we got rained out, then moved to the basement and just moved to the lobby and just threw down through a dope party.
Lit.
That was really fun.
That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on post game.
Appreciate it.
I'm bullish on your company. I'll see what the judges say.
Bro,
right?
you probably say you're bullish to everyone on the show.
Trust me, producer Pablo. We've seen some interesting companies. We're trying to be friends with all the players too, so like I don't want to on any of them. But,
yeah. He's shitting on you guys right now.
We got. I don't know if you saw. There was a dog poop picker upper robot.
Bro, that was awesome. The turd bird.
Yeah, that was very interesting. And then we went from that to a marketplace of AI agents as well.
Yeah,
a huge spectrum.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think most people wouldn't expect that from NFL players, but I think it's fascinating, man.
All right. I'm using this platform right now. I want to dispel the narrative of the Dumb-Jock, because I got to the NFL and people were like, yeah, I've read 6 books this month. And I'm like, wow. And the reality is people only know like high school athletes. You make it to college, you can be a Dumb-Jock, have people doing your homework. Bro, if you're in the league, you are in a certain percentage of the most athletically gifted people in the world, but you're also up there in intelligence. It might not be I'm getting A's in school intelligence, but it's a different type of the people who make it in the league and last are like actually like they're not dumb.
It requires a certain amount of like willpower and discipline that like only a certain level of intelligence can get you, if that makes sense, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Like the ones who last, like there are people who make it, but it's not making it that counts. It's staying there.
Yeah.
The ones that have staying power, bro, they're super smart. They're like very intelligent.
Maema, we're gonna have to get you coming on our show as we keep growing and expanding. I think you'd be an awesome fit. We should chop it up some finance and talk some cool deals and stuff. I think that'd be awesome.
Bro, I say you guys come to Charlotte. Maybe it's after who knows, like a Thursday night game. Do some Friday, Saturday, have a show, find a cool location, shoot some. We can talk.
And then end it with the DJ set, right?
End it with it, bro.
That would be lit.
Bro, now we're talking. Get producer Pablo in there. Pablo, I can play whatever you want, bro. You say the word. Nah, I appreciate you guys.
You're the man.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, this is post-game interview for Haven House. I'm here with Boris. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I grew up in Houston, Texas. I played college football, was a linebacker for the University of Louisiana in Lafayette. And then from there, I was undrafted free agent for the Atlanta Falcons. Was there 2015 season. And then when my career ended due to a shoulder injury, I pivoted and ended up going to medical school. And currently now I'm a anesthesiologist and a chronic pain physician at UPMC in Pittsburgh.
Wow, so really one of one. You're an athlete, professional athlete, and now a doctor. There's not that many of you, one of one. You're here at NFL Biz Week pitching Haven House, which is a real estate opportunity for a lot of athletes that are either switching teams and don't have the capacity to be able to find a place on their own that meets the amenities that they need, etc. First, before we even get into the pitch and how it went, I'm curious, why are you interested in entrepreneurship, right? You've been an athlete. You have a very great job as a doctor. Why entrepreneurship?
So in one sentence, I would say entrepreneurship to me is an intellectual sport. And it's one of the few things that I can do where there isn't really a finish line. And every day I can see myself progressing and moving towards a certain goal or target. And money isn't everything, but it's definitely a scorecard. And understanding that if I'm able to create value in this world, it will be reflected on the back end of things. And that's why I'm interested in entrepreneurship, just to kind of create value for the world.
Well said, well said. So tell us how the pitch went.
Yeah, I think the pitch went awesome. I think we hit it hard. The Sharks were excited to hear how our pitch went. We were able to – seemed like we had a good turnout when it comes to the crowd.
Yeah, it's actually sounded like a lot of the judges were really interested in getting involved in this idea. Are you guys going to pursue it?
Absolutely. It's one of those things where it is a actual huge need, because whenever players get traded, released, picked up on a short-term contract, they usually get housed for 2 weeks in maybe the nearest hotel. And though it sounds, that's convenient for the player, but the problem is your next-door neighbor might be someone who doesn't really care about your sleep-wake schedule. They may play loud music. They may be participating in other type of extracurricular activities that may hinder you from getting a good night's rest, or just in general producing the way you want to produce the following day. So this type of company will be able to eliminate that risk, and it will also be helpful for players moving forward and teams as well.
100%. Honestly, if there's any way the fourth quarter can get involved, we would love to. Last question. I've asked this to every person that I've interviewed so far. Obviously, entrepreneurship is becoming so much more prevalent with athletes. There were many athletes that were here for NFL Biz Week, but there were a lot of athletes that maybe didn't get the chance to come. There's one takeaway, one learning that you would like to share for the other athletes who are interested in entrepreneurship. We'd love to hear it.
Think of the first time you put on pads to play football. That first experience that you had. Didn't know what to expect. You knew you wanted to do it, but you kind of just did it. Maybe someone told you to. You maybe saw someone score a touchdown on TV. But you did it. And then from there, you made it professionally. That's what entrepreneurial is kind of like in my eyes, where it looks daunting. You don't know what to expect, but you just take that first step in that direction. And I would just advise, put those pads on, helmet on, and just go for it.
I love that. Love that. Boris, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Take care.
We just wrapped up here in New York City at the Ramp HQ for NFL Biz Week, presented by Athlete+Us, among other partners. Today was a blast, man.
Yeah, it was actually our first on-site.
First time having a guest.
First time having multiple guests.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome to see. One thing that I'm extremely excited about, especially when it comes to the sports industry, is how many athletes care a lot about building businesses outside of the work that they're doing, outside their playing careers, right? Whether it's off the field while they're playing or when they're retiring, they're all getting prepared so early on in their careers to go and build businesses. And I'm just super excited to see what a lot of these, some of these guests that we've had, from Darnay to Carl to Boris, what they end up building after this.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can become friends with them, because they were awesome people to even get to know personally. But this concept that's online and people that don't necessarily know these athletes is this like Dumb-Jock concept. And I've never thought that, but like after sitting down with these athletes, picking their brains, seeing them in a business setting, hearing their business ideas and their interest in the space, I can't even believe some people think about that and fathom that kind of concept, because these guys are extremely intelligent. You know, they have an opportunity to use the platform and the opportunity they've gotten to expand into other business domains and kind of grow that aspect. We just had Boris say entrepreneurship is an intellectual sport. I was like, I need to write that down, because that one is something that I need to internalize even more, because this is a sport, and it's really cool to see an off-field and off-court kind of competitive edge in these athletes.
100%. And one thing that Boris said that really resonates too is that for athletes, a lot of people think that the red carpet is rolled out, but there's a lot of work being done in the background, in the shadows, on them building up their business skills and getting prepared for their life off field and starting their own company. So just overall, like what Justin and the team at Ramp did, building out this business week and hosting all these players at their headquarters, I'm just hoping that we get even more of this.
We won.
Let's go!
Let's go! All right, so Haven House just won.
Yeah, Boris just came in, gave us we just won. That's huge. I wouldn't have I mean,
no,
when
100%. We literally said the fourth quarter should get involved in it. Honestly,
yeah.
if we can,
remember
if we can
in
throw
the
some money,
pregame,
we'd love to.
pregame, we looked at each other and we were like, "Yo, that might be the
yeah,
one."
no, 100%. When Carl when Carl was telling us that business, I was like, "Yo, like I see that being a real thing."
That's fire. And as these athletes continue to grow and this ecosystem continues to build, I hope the fourth quarter and what we're building here is another facet to help elevate and kind of rise the tides, or raise the tides. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for what we have going at the fourth quarter. Today was a big step in the right direction, Suraj. So
yeah.
I'm proud of you and proud of us. And of course, producer Pablo.
Bob. Shout out to producer Bob.
He makes all of this possible. And
yeah, I'm excited for the next on-site event. I think this is something that we should be doing more.
Until next time. Thanks, Ramp. Thank you, NFL. Thank you, Athlete+Us. And thank you to all these other partners. We're excited to make something awesome together for all the other future iterations. Signing off on the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter out.